at this point?
No, you guys are out. You guys are heading back to Candlekeep.
Okay.
This is Chapter 4, Session 1, A Deep and Creeping Darkness. So you guys make your way into this little hole in the wall off the beaten path, looking to feed your bellies, and you're sitting around with a bunch of people. There seems to be a few people running around. You can tell they're miners, and you have different types of class of people there. Town drunk, typical.
Miners are you talking about?
What's that?
Miners are you talking about? Like miners, like young people, or people actually mining?
No, like miners, yeah, profession. They got pickaxes kind of strapped to their tool belt, and they're muddy and dirty and dirt, work boots, and very obvious they're miners. They got mining caps on. They have like little candles to stick on the out up front for lighting, whatnot. It's about lunchtime. They're all kind of sitting around and having a few cups of ale and whatever chow that they could get their hands on from the inn.
Sounds good. If we're all hungry, I'll definitely
So you guys go
vote for tavern fare.
Okay. You guys enter this little inn, and you look up, and you see the bartender and the barmaid. They kind of look over, and she yells across the floor, seat yourself, seat yourself. I'll be with you in a minute.
Find a table that can seat us.
You guys sit down, and you're sitting right next to a big table. It's got eight men. Definitely miners. They're just kind of sitting up, cutting up, talking about whatever.
What race, predominantly, would you say are the people in this tavern?
Well, the table next to you, you're looking at, out of eight gentlemen, you see four dwarves. They seem to be dominant, at least at that table. They're sitting around. There's a Goliath, pretty stout. Guy behind the counter that's working the bar, he's looks like he might have a little elf in him. Half elf maybe, half human. Not real sure. Pointy ears. The barmaid, she's definitely full elf. Golden eyes, pointy ears, kind of cocky.
As I walk into the tavern, I would probably be at the back of the group, and I'd probably be close to the front of the group. I'd kind of peek into the tavern, kind of get that assessment, kind of shuffle back to the back of the group, and then change into the appearance of a dwarf before walking in with my group.
Okay. I'll let you guys role play that out, because I don't think your group really knew you could do that, right? Have you ever done it since you've been hanging out with these people?
I have not, so I'll probably, I'll get the lay of the land, kind of sidle to the back, and be like, I don't want to freak anyone out, but
okay, so you tell them what you're doing.
Yes, I can change my appearance.
I would have messed with them.
Yeah, I was about to say,
funny.
didn't even notice this at all. It would have just been like, go ahead.
Yeah, it would be funny, but I would also, I'm hoping to, you know what, actually, that's a good idea. Low stakes environment, I'm just going to not tell them.
All right, give me a marching order. How are you guys positioned? If he's going in the rear, who's going to be in front of Isaac?
Yes, and I'll be leading.
Okay. So you're up front.
I'll be next to him, next to Lauren.
So you guys are probably 2x2s.
Sounds about right.
I'd say so.
Right.
Kind of come in, you kind of come in one at a time, and then you go side by side. I don't know how.
Well, you guys are not quite in, so you're basically on the front porch. because he poked his head in, took a look, and he came back and he's kind of in the back. So are you guys like 4x4 or 2x2s, or you guys single file?
All I know is I wouldn't be looking at him.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't see it. So so we'll just say you guys happen to turn around and look, and all of a sudden you realize, I forget what your character's name is, Levin. What was Isaac's name?
Oh, Duress.
Duress. I'm sorry. Duress. There it is. Duress is not there. In fact, there's this dwarf standing there.
But remarkably, he has the same armor on.
Yeah. What do you guys do? I'll let you guys play that out.
And it is very distinctive armor, by the way. Like, you've never seen this kind of armor. And now you've seen two people with it.
I would be very confused and not know, but I don't think Chime would really understand what was going on. She would just see a dwarf with a very distinctive armor.
Caw-caw!
Yeah, to really throw her for a loop. Like, I don't think she's a monk, but not that smart.
Lauren,
She's not that
growing
smart.
up with magic and growing up with people who like to all he would say is illusion isn't necessary, and we're not in harm's way, but if it makes you feel more comfortable.
Aye, this ain't illusion. This be real. I merely change me form from time to time to make those around me feel more at ease. But I assure you, touch me. It be real.
A giggity.
I poke him. Poke him hard in the face.
In the face, or like all of a sudden he's got a massive beard like he did before. Middle of the forehead? Okay. Yeah,
like the middle of the forehead, just like a not to hurt, but like
right.
Like a
penetrating this illusion.
It's very tough and leathery and a little bit scratchy.
Scratch your forehead. Scratch. And just like kind of start like running scratching another place, like very satisfying to start scratching. Keep going. I could turn my head.
Transmutation then. If you want to be more permanent, that's the way.
For your information, I'm known as what's called a changeling. I can change me physical form, but I don't take on the attributes, I guess you'd say.
So when you change, do you still stay the same height and weight, or does that change as well?
Yes, roughly the same height. That's why I'm like always 4'11" or something, whatever I put. So I'm probably like a slightly tall dwarf. If I were to change into an elf, I'd be a slightly short elf. I'm a very short human.
So surprisingly enough, dwarfs are not considered small. They are still considered medium. So they are, they're normal human, like belly button to chest height.
They just have stumpy little legs.
Yeah. But they are still considered medium creatures.
Considered medium.
Humans, like most playable races, are considered medium.
Okay.
Like halflings and gnomes, they're considered small. And Goliaths are like in the top range of medium, but a lot of their traits let them function as if they were large if it benefits them.
Okay.
But anyway, dwarves are still considered medium. They just have a little bit of a speed penalty, but never take a speed penalty in armor.
Mules.
Well, once I finish, once I'm satisfied scratching the rough skin of his face, like curiously, I'll just shrug and head inside and grab a table.
All right.
Take Dorian with me. Or not
This is-
Dorian, sorry. Lauren with me.
This is part of my traits when I created this character. Very nonplussed. Like, doesn't... Like, his whole description is utterly serene, even in the face of disaster. So,
Calm?
like, yeah, utterly serene, like, calm, nonplussed, like, okay. So,
So that's why you're so nonchalant when Beck keeps calling you wizard.
mhm.
And I call you wizard, man.
He's basically the calm, and he always calm,
So you're saying he remains stoic at all times?
mostly.
Okay, I've heard nonplussed as like agitated or something.
Nonplussed is another way of saying in some situations it can be not impressed.
Okay.
But in most places, nonplussed means non-reactive. He doesn't. In most situations, like most people use it in the vocabulary as not impressed. Basically, like if someone does something impressive and someone looks nonplussed, then it's like they don't care.
Sweet.
But that's what it doesn't necessarily mean that he's not impressed. It just means that he doesn't
show it.
He doesn't seem to care.
Okay, sweet.
Whether or not he, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so basically he's just like, very well then. If anybody else has any other thing they need to do before going inside, I'm opening the door.
All right, so you guys enter the inn. Like I said, the barmaid kind of tells you to go ahead and seat yourself. You guys sit down next to this big table. Miners, definitely. People kind of trickle in and out as you guys are sitting there. Finally, the barmaid comes over and says, what you have you?
It's the ale in this town.
It's wet.
That's what I like to hear.
And bubbly. So be
I'll
ale?
take two. I'll take two, lassie.
Excellent. And you? She points over to Warren. What would you have?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Anything to eat?
No, thank you.
She looks over at Mad Margaret. And you?
Ale with some roasted pork.
That sounds amazing. Sorry, what'd you say?
I just told him he's in luck.
Hey, lassie, I'll take the pork as well, please.
And he looks over at Time. And you?
Water. And I hold up 2 fingers to indicate I need 2 glasses of water and no meat.
In your water?
Food. Nothing meat.
She kind of looks at the rest of you and she walks
Smile.
off.
Veggies and potatoes.
Ooh, potatoes. I like
Potatoes.
Cheese on it.
So she gets back to where the bar is and she yells back
Okay,
out
bacon.
behind the bar. And then she comes back about 5 minutes later with your drinks. Kind of slides them off the table. They're sloshing around. The table gets wet. She walks back to the bar. About another 15 minutes or so come by and she comes out She brings you guys your food. Meanwhile, the table with all the dwarfs sitting around, they're talking about old times and mining, and they bring up a topic that you happen to overhear about the good old days of a town that's called Vermin. How they couldn't believe how they got run off and how it had the largest platinum vein. It was up in the mountains, and oh yeah, that was the good old days. And they start going into about the story about how the people started dying off, then they started disappearing. Some of the people who survived the city actually took off to another town. They mentioned Marion. You guys are overhearing this. They're getting loud and they're getting rowdy, so they're talking quite loud. So it's not like they're whispering. One of them kind of perks up and says, "God, I wish we could find out whatever happened. I would love to go back. I know that vein's still there, but my God, I gotta know if it's safe or not. We need to rally up the troops and go check it out." And next guy's like, "Fuck that. I want to make sure that place is cleared out first. I want whatever's going on. I want to disappear." They're all kind of here, and they're all nodding. Maybe we'll find somebody one day.
Do we have our drinks and food by now?
Yep. And he kind of looks over his shoulder and he looks over at your guys' table. He says, "Hell, you never know. These guys might go do something. They may want to go clear it out." I'll look around and start laughing.
I'll kind of lean back in my seat and say, "Well, must admit, you made me old ears perk up when you said platinum. Where be this mine of yours?"
They all got quiet and they look at you. It's up in the Erie Mountains, not too far from here, about 3 days travel.
Hey.
I'll pay you some more. Are you serious? Are you seriously thinking about checking it out?
Well, I could use a bit of adventure if there's a little incentive for an old dwarf like me. Yeah, what are we talking about? What needs to be cleared out of this here mine?
While you're carrying on a conversation, a guy across the table, at the same table, he stands up and slaps his hand on the table pretty hard, and you hear change coin just kind of jingling around. And "I'll pay you half the pursuit right now. What do you think, fellas?" And they get all, yeah. Next thing you know, they're all standing up. They're throwing, "What you got?" And they're throwing all their change and coinage and whatever. And one guy's half drunk. He about falls over the chair. And he gets back up. He's trying to collect himself, and he picks up what he hit the floor. And "This is what I got." And he throws it on the table. And they look around. And they start counting it. "There's 1,000 gold right here. I'd give this 1,000 gold to you right now if you go and clear out whatever the hell's going on up in there and let us know. Right here, right now." And he scoops it up in one big pile in the middle of the table. They all turn and look at you. It gets real dead quiet. Even the people tables over, people observing what's going on, they got real quiet.
Even I turned to Durak and look.
Everybody's looking at you.
I know Chris went AFK, but I'm guessing Chris would be like, yeah.
It got so quiet you can hear the bartender squeaking the glasses clean with the rag.
I take one of the mugs in front of me, I grab it, and I chug it all down in one go, slam the mug down on the table, say, "What be this fiendish pestilence that we need clearing out of this here mine?"
That's what we're trying to find out. That's what we're hiring you for.
Ha ha ha! A challenge! Methinks this would be right up our alley. What say ye, gang? And I look at the rest of the party.
I turn to I look at everyone, and I give a little nod.
I am far from opposed.
Another dwarf stands up. take this 1,000 gold now, and we'll give you another 1,000 gold when you come back. If you do come back.
I grab my other mug and I stand up. I walk over to him. I extend the mug for words. What?
To clink it?
Yes, that. Thank you.
Like a
Cheers.
Yes.
Bye.
And I'm just waiting for him to react. And I say, let's see. I say, we'll be back before you know it.
So you come up and you crash your mugs, and next you know it, the one starts singing the dwarven song, and next you know it, his other buddy chimes in, and next you know it, you got all four of them, they're all singing.
I start chiming in Dwarvish.
And they look over at you like, okay, are you going to join in the song? You must know you're Dwarvish.
Oh, yeah, no, I chime in Dwarvish.
Okay.
And while I'm singing, I'm just... I chug the mug of ale, I slam it down, I say, another round! And then I grab up all the gold and jewels and mithril and all that, and bring it back over and dump it on our table. Let's go!
Alright.
Good song.
I wish I knew this song in like German.
For those of you who don't know, if the music's too loud, you have to physically turn Fred's boat down. There's no master volume.
What'd you say I had to turn down the bot?
Yeah.
Yeah, right click
That's
on Fred boat on the left hand pane. And then
That's
go
what
to
he was
user
saying.
volume. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to blast you out. Alright, so you guys are singing along. Next note, everybody else in there, they know the song quite well. These guys are regulars, and you got dwarves, you got elves, you got everybody in there just singing along.
On a unrelated note, to the DM, how much would it be for a round of ale for everyone in the tavern? Do I know roughly?
Are you saying no? You wouldn't know.
Would or would not?
No, because each place is probably going to be different.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you have a good idea, like a couple copper pieces, but this is placed like an off the beaten path, so their price is going to be a little bit more expensive. But are you shouting out, asking?
Yeah, just as we're singing, I guess instead of saying, when I said another round, instead I would say, another round for the tavern, on me!
Okay. The bartender, he looks over and he's got both his fists like on the edge of the bar, and he's smiling, and he says, it's on the house.
Much obliged to
Everybody
you.
gets involved, and they're all singing, so it doesn't cost you a dime.
Yeah, Dwarven Etiquette 101. Something great happens, you buy a round for the house.
All right. So you guys get done singing, you guys are drinking ale, and the one dwarf says, well, let's get down to business. He starts telling you about the only way he can explain for you to get information on what's going on, he's going to give you a bone. You're going to have to go back to Candlekeep. You're going to have to look for a book. It's called The Deep and Dark Creeping, or the Deep and Dark Creeping Darkness. I'm sorry, The Deep and Creeping Darkness. And it explains to you about the lore behind the book. The book supposedly has information pertaining to what had happened. The book was written by a bard. A bard kind of like took notes in diary and when he was in town and was trying to make a big song. And in fact, he claims he's written it, but that's been kind of skeptical. People are not believing the bard had actually written this. So, anyways, the story goes, a villager who grandmother had old possessions and had the book of this deceased bard, and the book fell in hands to this granddaughter, and somehow during her youth, she it landed in Candlekeep, and the Avowed basically blew it off, and they took it in because it was a rare book, but nobody really paid any attention to it, and it got thrown up on the shelf and left alone, collect dust. However, inside this book, this guy's telling you this, got information about uh, the death of the mountain village that was called Vermelin, and it was done by a slow, unknown means, and nobody knows, and that's kind of reason why they want you to investigate. And he's telling you, if you find this book will probably help you out. In fact, if you can bring this book back to him, they'll give you additional 500 gold pieces.
Why would he want
And
the
back to
gold?
the dwarves?
What's that?
Back to the dwarves?
Yes.
Was the bard a dwarf?
Is the bard a dwarf? No. No, it doesn't specify what race they were.
Oh, well, then why?
But this
Why
dwarf
would they want it
wants
back?
the book. He would like it.
Yeah.
So he's offering, extra gold for if you bring the book to him himself.
Just to have it, or was there any other importance to him?
No, you don't know that. Are you asking him that?
Yeah, actually, I would like. Well, I'll write it down like on my little note, quill and note, and ask why is the book important to him.
He just tells you he wants to keep for his collection. He's got family that used to mine in the platinum vein years ago. So basically heritage.
I will warn him. Candlekeep does have a strict policy. If I'm able to get a copy of it, I will definitely give him one. But Candlekeep has a strict policy of indefinite.
He kind of cuts you off while you're trying to talk to him, and he tells you, "So what's it worth to you?" In other words, he don't give two shits how you get it out of there.
This is their book, right? Like it fell into the wrong hands?
No, it's not their book.
Okay.
It's just a book that was written supposedly by this bard who was writing during his youth, and this bard had passed on, and the long story short, the book ended up in his granddaughter's hands as she got older, and then it got put into the Candlekeep, and that's where it sat.
Oh, okay.
Well, if her granddaughter gave it to the Candlekeep, it's not worth stealing back.
Well, the way Candlekeep is, to get in to have access, you had to have some sort of literature, and that was one of the ways, because it's known as the largest library, and that was your how to gain passage was books, and she ended up using the book to gain passage into Candlekeep for whatever reason.
Would he be willing to take a copy of one? This is the original.
Are you asking the dwarf straight up?
Yeah.
Copy? He says, I want the original.
Do you know if it's original?
We don't know that, do we?
What did it say?
You're talking about the book itself being original, because there's skepticism about the book even being written by this bard altogether.
You get it?
We wouldn't know if you have written it or not.
Well, no.
You don't know that, but
we probably wouldn't have ways to even find out if it's even to find out for ourselves if it's even true.
Yeah.
We just needed to help deal with the monster in the mine, or possible monster in the mine.
Well, in that case, if we're going to, are we going to be staying the night, or are we going to be heading out after our lunch?
If it's not far.
Yeah, you
Well,
guys
we have to head back to Candlekeep.
Well,
you guys
yeah.
about half a day's travel.
Go ahead and after lunch.
Yep. Awesome.
All right.
So you guys finish your lunch, and what are you gonna do?
Head out to Candlekeep.
All right. You guys make it to the gates, Candlekeep. They look at you. Got your hand out. Like,
So
We've been here before. We have been granted
Forever
asylum
passes.
here. Yeah, forever passes.
okay. They look at you like, and who are you?
I'm also a sage that lives here, so so I just kind of nod at them and continue walking.
They stop you. You notice these guys are fairly new. You've never seen them before. Hold on a second here. Let's get somebody else involved here.
Does anybody
Well,
remember the name of the person who gave us that mission to go to Baldur's Gate? Does anybody remember that guy's name?
the guy granted you passage, unlimited passages to Candlekeep, or the guy sent you
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate?
The guy who gave us the mission to go to Baldur's Gate and gave us that helmet of comprehend languages.
Yeah, that was who was that? That was too many days I slept. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember what the guy's name is. So, anyways, one of the runners, we went and get one of the Evolved. The Evolved comes up, and you guys recognize him. He's like, "Oh, let him through. Let him through."
I was gonna mimic his voice and say,
Go for it.
Let us in.
Let me in! Let me in!
Basically, I was just gonna say like I'm mimicking that man's voice, like him telling us that we had passage back into Candlekeep. But that's fine too.
Gotcha. You guys originally were sent in to meet Festania, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, the sage. What was his name? Notorious. No, what was his name? Oh, I forget what his name is. It'll come to me. Anyways, so you guys go in. Do you mention anything? Do you say anything?
And
Because you guys are not trying to find a needle in a haystack.
I'd ask someone in the library, excuse me, librarian, and I'd say
Back at the end, you guys basically signed a contract with a mining exploration group. I'm going to say they went ahead and gave you guys information, intel. They told you to go seek out a gentleman by the name of Gastian, and he can be found in the court air. So let's type out the name.
yeah. Okay. I'll say Gaston.
Cool.
Perfect.
So,
Oh, he's back.
who's back?
Chris.
Oh, I thought he's been back. I will look. around the library.
Yeah.
Do we know? Did they give us a description of what this guy looks like?
Oh no,
Gaston?
he'll know you. If you go in there and ask for him, he'll know.
Okay.
Chris, what was the last thing you heard?
We're seeking for this book to bring back to one of the dwarves. He's going to give us money for it. Wasn't quite sure what the book was totally about. Like, what's this? I know the significance of it, but to the dwarf, but
Right. Were you there when they did the contract? 'Cause I think Lauren said they were kind of waiting on you to agree.
It was,
They hadn't agreed. I just want to know
yeah,
where you're at.
1,000 gold pieces plus 1,000 when we're done.
And then 500 for the book.
Yeah,
Okay.
each. Yeah, we all get 1,000 now, 1,000 later, plus 500 each for the book too.
Okay.
Everybody gets 2,500.
You mean 250?
I said 2,500.
no, he said we get 1,000. The group of us gets 1,000.
Oh, total rewards. I thought you meant the stuff that we currently have in our possession.
No.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
1,000 for starting
Supposed
it, 1,000 for completing it, and then 500 if we bring back the book.
Right, and that's total, not per person.
You're supposed to agree per person.
Honestly, I vote not stealing the book because I don't want to ruin our forever passes.
Yeah.
I say we try and get a copy of it because I don't think the guy's going to even know what the original looks like versus a copy. Get a master forger.
If we can get a copy, I have no problem with that, but I will not be taking the book out of.
I could try forgery.
I could help you.
It may take a while, depending on how long the book is.
I think that's a feat of mine.
A pop-up book.
Anyways, you guys are in a court of air looking for a guy. His name is Gaston. Basically, he is
I do.
he's like an adjunct guy, I guess. Adjunct. So, anyways, you're looking for a guy named Gaston.
Gaston. I'm going to walk up to the nearest.
There's people all over.
Yeah, I'm walking up to the nearest person, and I'm gonna say, hold on, yes. Walk up to them and say in the dwarvish man's voice, Gaston, please. Give like a little side eye.
Hey, he'll get you and point in a direction where he resides.
What does he do?
He points in the direction where he's at.
Okay, cool. I walk over there.
Okay. You see an elder gentleman wearing a white cloak, smoking a pipe, looks over at you.
I'll join you in case it needs to be said.
Thank you. I guess
What is... Sorry.
Well, I kind of look at Duras and kind of nod my beak towards him, like, you start talking, dwarf man.
Remind me, we're in Candlekeep. We're asking... Say it again?
You're asking what?
Gaston. We're asking Gaston.
Okay.
Location where the book is.
Okay, so we're in Candlekeep. On the way to Candlekeep, like on that journey, I would have asked what they would guess the predominant race would be of Candlekeep. What do they see a lot of?
Everything. Candlekeep's fairly large. It's a huge melting pot.
I guess I would take on an elvish form on the way there. So now I'm an elf person.
Okay.
Alright, so we're talking to Gastian, we're looking for the book, and Chime is looking to me to start the conversation?
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
you straight up ask him for the book?
Yeah, I walked up this kind of slightly short-ish for an elf female form, and, just walk up, pardon me, sir. We're looking for a book, known as, The Deep and Creeping Darkness? Have you ever heard of it?
He looks at you and he just starts grinning from ear to ear. Ah, somebody who knows what they're looking for. He's fairly impressed. And may I ask why you're looking for this book?
We had it mentioned to us from a, friend, acquaintance, apparently, uh, someone he knew used to be in possession of the book, and he was asking about its whereabouts, seeing if it survives.
The book? Tell you what, if the book has survived? He looks
Yes,
kind
I
of
would
kind
guess.
of puzzled.
Yes, the people we talked to hadn't seen or heard of it in a while. They were curious if it's survived.
Ah, yes. We received the Raven a few hours ago, so you must be the one. Right this way. He takes you out, walks you guys, the entire group. You guys go in from the quarter area into the house of rest. Pick a room, any room, as long as it's not vacant. Or occupied, I'm
Room
sorry.
C.
As long as it's vacant.
At room C.
So he basically lets you guys, tells you to go get settled in, and when you're done getting settled in, come back out in the center of the house of rest, and he'll be waiting for you.
If this is just like a random sitting room, does it have beds or anything, or is it just like a study?
Think of it like a motel, like an inn.
Oh,
It's like a bunch of rooms with a common area.
Yeah.
okay.
We need accommodations, do we?
So do we each have our own room, or do we all share this one room?
Just depends on you guys.
I think we got enough to have our own room.
There's plenty of rooms. So if you want your own personal room, you can have your own personal room. If you want to bunk up, shack up with somebody, you can do that too.
It's in my own room. Like, run up to the nearest vacant room, be like, mine.
They're all relatively the same. There's nothing different about any of them. So
And then it's just the nearest room that I just walk up to the nearest room and call it mine.
excellent. And he's very thankful and surprised that you guys actually knew what you're looking for. He knew by name, but like he said, he told you that he received Raven, was expecting you. All your rooms and stuff were prepaid, pre-accommodated.
Cool.
So you guys go back out, I'm assuming. Everyone should get settled in. He's standing in the middle, and he's got a book in his hand. And he hands you this book. On the binding, you see A Deep and Creeping Darkness. The book is bound in black leather. The spine is embossed. Looking through it, it shows minimal signs of wear. There are a few pages that are dog-eared. And those pages that are dog-eared, they look like they may have been carelessness. There's a spot here and there on it. Nothing significant about the page. Just whoever was reading it decided to have lunch or something at that moment. The work is neat, though. However, it's not flawless. You definitely can see noble spelling errors right off the bat, ink blotches. And while you're standing there looking, thumbing through it, the gentleman that hands you the book kind of nods and says, yes, I know, it's not professional scribe. If you need anything, holler. And he walks off.
Did he just say we can have it or look at it?
You asked for it, right?
It is in our possession currently, but we are in the Candlekeep.
That's correct.
Which means don't walk off with it.
Basically, it's here, have a room, here's the book. Whatever you want to do, go for it. If you need anything else, come get him. When you're done, give it back.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you guys do?
I'm gonna kind of follow the person who gave us the book a little ways away, I guess.
Sure.
Just kind of like, one last thing.
Yes.
I'm not from around here. I was wondering about the rules. I heard that here one is not allowed to take any sort of literature out of the city permanently, but would
Definitely
it be...
not. Definitely not.
What is the policy on copying something like this? And if we were to...
Forgery? He looks at
Well, you yourself said it wasn't perfect. Why am my words? Work has been kicking my butt. You yourself have said that it isn't the work of a very competent scribe. What if we were to make a more official looking version so that we could have the original? Is that offending even to ask? Yeah.
And he tells you no. And he pretends you didn't say it.
I suppose I can understand. There is a beauty to the original work.
And while he's gone, I'm just like, if you're going to make a copy, make a copy. You have guidance.
Forget.
So you cast guidance. All right.
On who?
Does anybody even bother reading the book?
Copy. I'd like to read the book, but if she's going to copy it, then she needs the time that she needs all the time she can.
Okay. Big is the book. It's like a thick book. Is it like?
I need the. Well, I'm just gonna start writing down like a list of everything I need in order to make a copy of the book.
So what do you need? What do you need to do to make a copy?
So.
You're gonna cast a spell.
Well, it says it says on my sheet that I just have advantage on all checks for forgeries and stuff. And that's all it is. On advantage on all checks made to produce forgeries or duplicates of existing objects.
Oh, nice.
I posted what the trait says.
I see.
And guidance gives you a D4 on top of that. That's pretty good.
Okay. Would that just be... I don't know what ability check it would be, though. Would that be charisma? Hold on.
I think it'd be dexterity plus proficiency, typically.
Oh, ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So make it
now,
copy?
Do you have the materials?
I don't. That's the problem. I don't have the materials.
If you wait for me to come back, like, I'm very obviously kind of a science dude of sorts. Like, you saw me shooting lightning and stuff. So if you want to wait for me, I can probably procure you some sort of notebook. I probably would have a notebook on me, but I can certainly procure you, like, a tome that you can use.
And I hold up the book, one. And I said, and basically, like, I hold up the book to him, and I kind of, like, tap it with my hands, like...
Here's the deal. Does anybody have the spell Fabricate? You can use the spell to fabricate to duplicate a book. However, you will need cartographer supplies to do it proficiently.
Cartography or...
I'm sorry, calligraphy.
Calligraphy. Okay. I don't have the spell, but if it's a cleric spell, I can get it tomorrow.
If it's a ritual, I could pick it up if I find a scroll for it.
Let's see.
All I have is Weaver's tools.
So I guess, given that
County
short
finding?
conversation, I would come back within a minute. So we could say we're discussing this as a group if you want. And
Mhm.
so I'll be like, yes, I can.
Oh, it's a 4th level spell. I can't
Yeah,
cast it.
transmute
Oh
character
crap!
too.
Okay, I knew I hadn't seen it.
Oh, if I had, I would have picked it up because that
Yeah,
sounds
that's
like a
pretty
fun one.
handy.
It's also artificers get it and wizards
Ooh.
get it.
Okay, sweet. I'll have to keep an eye out. Oh, dang. Artificers probably won't get 4th levels until like level 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're only half casters.
Mm.
Yeah, artificer would get it at level 17. Nope,
Oh,
sorry, 13.
Oh, okay.
So you get it right at the end of this campaign.
But yes, exactly. So I will offer to. What time of day is it?
It's
got
getting
here.
late.
Night. Yeah.
Late. Okay. Yeah. So I'll be like, first thing in the morning, I'll go looking. I kind of want to explore myself, but I can find you a book. Screw this, and I'm gonna drop my elf form and go back to the probably just the human. Be like, I apologize. I'm sure that voice was
No, you're
terrible.
fine.
I'm not very good at Elvish. No, I'm saying this in character. Like, Duras is still working on his impressions for some beings. Much better. But anyway, Chime, I'm curious about this
Okay.
town.
A wizard spell on a spell scroll can be copied just as spells in a spell book can be copied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
But we have to be able to cast that level.
yeah, and you can't. And it's going to require a Arcana check anyways. So.
Well, so he could
Find
cast
somebody.
it. He could cast that spell. It is higher level. He could cast that spell, but it would require an Arcana check.
Oh.
If it is of a level that you can already cast, so if you were already level 13, then it would require no check. You could just cast
you
it, no
just
problem.
cast it.
Oh. Okay, sweet. All right, I'll look around tomorrow then.
So,
In the meantime, though,
But in order to use, like, if she were to use her ability to duplicate, you would need ink, a quill, and basically a tome of similar size.
sweet. Okay.
now is this a spell duplicate?
No, it is
Okay.
her ability to physically duplicate things exactly.
Forgery. My forgery trait.
Kenku has a special ability to duplicate things
Excellent.
easier. They have advantage on the check to do so.
Do you have all your
Nice.
material you need to duplicate this?
I don't.
What do you
Yeah,
need?
we'll have to shop for that tomorrow.
But we are at a library, so I'm assuming notebooks,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
ink, and parchment and such would be pretty easy to come across.
Particularly since this was just a bard scrolling on whatever notebook he could find, probably.
I mean, it is leather bound, so
Nice. Okay.
it is leather bound and embossed.
Yeah, it's embossed on the spine. We'd have to copy that too.
But with guidance, I mean, whenever you do it, you'll have guidance. Like, it's not a that's an at-will spell for me. I don't really care.
Okay. Maybe I'm just overthinking it a little bit. It's like, it's gotta, like, has he seen what this book looks like? Like, he doesn't want a copy, so we have to make it look as original as possible.
He said he didn't know what it looked like. He's never seen it, though.
Right.
Okay, well then we'll just give him a tome that's black bound and just copy it. Probably not even worry about and make it look a little bit worn.
We
Probably
try
not
to
worry about the
duplicate
embossment
as much as
stuff.
possible. So we duplicate as much as possible because he's in talks with this guy. And this guy might be like,
Oh, he's in touch with this? Oh, he's in touch with this guy.
so we got to duplicate as best as possible.
Well, No.
We can.
Here. Even if we duplicate it and give it to him, would he tell Gaston that he has the book now? And
You don't know.
when Gaston says, "Hey, no, you don't. We still have it here."
Well, apparently he knows Gastian because he sent him a raven.
Yeah, he knows Gaston.
So, would he tell Gaston if he had the book in his possession?
What makes you think this guy doesn't know what the actual book looks like?
That's the thing, we don't.
Said he's never seen it.
I don't recall him saying that.
We didn't ask the question. So we don't know if he knows what it looks like.
Well, what I've found is in order to make a copy of something, it's if you have an appropriate kit to do so, it's a dex check plus proficiency. If you don't have the kit, then it's just dex.
It's a calligraphy kit?
Calligraphy is necessary for the spell fabricate.
Oh, well, I don't have the kit. Well, maybe we can probably buy one. You can probably go see if if Canopy has a set. We can probably go buy a set.
There is technically a forgery kit, but I doubt they would sell that here.
We would just say we want a calligraphy set and just work from there. I don't think I need a forgery kit to use my check.
No,
Sure.
I don't think I need a forgery kit to use my ability.
no, you just have to. You would have advantage on the check that you make.
Okay.
So cartographer's tools, how would that come into play?
We did
Calligrapher?
photographer. We meant calligraphy.
Calligraphy.
A cartographer's tools allows you to pursue or craft a trade. That's pretty much one of you guys' right off the bat. I think you guys can choose.
I thought cartography was map
And
making.
it should come
Yeah.
with your background.
That is if you choose it. I chose a soldier background, so all I had was weaver's tools and a dice set.
Ah, Weaver's tools. You can make the book.
Oh. Okay, that works.
So if we buy paper and a little bit of leather, you can weave it together.
Okay. And I said I've been making notes to write down things I can't say, so I technically have a quill.
I mean, you're a bird. You can pluck one.
That too. Well, I still need ink. I can't make
And
ink out of my feathers.
You don't have ink?
not anymore. She used the rest of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what I was
say.
That's why I was saying
Yeah.
a cartographer's tool. It actually has, parchment, ink, has all the
Yeah,
main ingredients that you can use.
truth.
Yeah.
Calligraphy probably would too, but that's more like a brush, not a quill.
It's okay. So tomorrow morning, go shopping, get a cartographer's kit. We'll use my weaver tools to make the tome. We just need ink. We just need ink and parchment.
Yep, ink, parchment, and a little bit of leather.
Cool.
Black leather.
Okay.
And probably some. And say, could the embossment be included in the set so I can print the title of the book, the title onto the spine of the book?
That'd be part of your check.
Okay. Sorry, I'm overthinking it.
No,
No.
worries.
I talked about this for 10 minutes. I had to forge a book. All right, so
That
that's
works.
that. You wanted to read it?
Who has
Yeah.
the book?
I'll read it.
Okay, you're
I'll
gonna read it?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't need near as much rest as the rest of them, so.
All right, excellent. And then you and I will drop down to room 2. Cool.
Cool, I'm coming. All right.
All right. So you're looking at the book. Like I said, the cover says "Deep and Creeping Darkness." Flipping through it tells you the tale of a mountain village whose residents went missing over the course of several months. The book basically looks like it's been done in a series, so it's kind of like a normal book, chapters and stuff. How everything kind of went down from day one. Um, let's see. It talks about survivors, traveling merchants, and of course everything has been done in secondhand. Talks about the residents of nearby settlements, and then it's really unclear whether it's fictional. Like I said, reading through it, you're like, geez, is this folklore? Is it history? Or is it a tale? The contents do seem factual, but it's almost like it's exaggerating, a little dramatic.
Gotcha.
So, anyways, the book, it talks about Vermilion, which is a town that was established after settlers had discovered the platinum vein. It's alongside the mountainside, and over time it did a booming business, and then of course the town had grew, and then it grew into both raw ore, and then they started refining it into metal, and it was prosperous for decades. However, though, due to the rough terrain and the harsh of the climate, the village never really grew that large, but intermittently they hosted, and it was very successful for travelers and whatnot, merchants who come and go from the village. They'd hang out for a week or two, and then they would leave. There was a lot of selling and trading that went on between their wares and what the town was producing. They got to know a lot of the merchants become normal residents, even though they didn't live there. Every few weeks, they kind of popped up. So anyways.
Gotcha.
The nearest village, civilized at least, settlement, it's about 3 days' ride if you're on a horse, and it's down the mountain. And this town is called Marion. It is the inhabitants, according to the book. It talked about the mayor. His name was Lai. Here, I'm gonna write this down, and I'm gonna message it to you. How's that?
Okay, that works.
I know when you get this. Where's that at? I lost my spot. There it is. So it's LEIDUVEZIN.
Got it. Okay. And that's the mayor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talks a lot about this mayor. And that's the mayor of Marion. However, the mayor is a dwarf. He's a dwarf smith. No, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. The book talked about the mayor, Lai Dozen, a kind and talented dwarf smith named Tormund. So let me write this down as well. What was his name? Tormun. Oops. And his wife, what was her name? I'm sure these are going to pop up later. That's the reason why it's important.
Yeah.
Whoops, wife. All right. Then it talks about 70 years ago there was an explosion, basically that rocked the platinum mine. It was collapsing a lot of the tunnels, burying a lot of the workers. There was under tons of rubble. It talks about there were 60 miners that were underground that day. Over 30 of them had died. The initial collapse, and then the instability of the tunnels made rescue the others kind of slow and dangerous. However, the miners who did survive the collapse were trapped for days or weeks before they were even rescued. And then it talks about how people had perished in the deep, alone and very terrified. Then it talked about 16 people eventually came out alive, and 11 of them were never found.
And you said 60 died? in
No,
the initial?
out of 60 miners that were underground, 30 of them died. So half of
Okay.
them
Okay, 30 died.
instantly. And then over the time, a lot of them had died, had perished, and out of the 60 miners, only 16 of them actually came out. All the bodies were accounted for except for 11. So there's 11 people that were never found.
So 30 died instantly, and after weeks of clearing, 16 came out alive, 11 were never found.
Yep, their bodies were never found. They could never find the remains of them. And then basically in the wake of the catastrophe, for whatever reason, the village people started to disappear. And it started with the survivors. So the townspeople themselves weren't affected until after the survivors that came from the catastrophe. After they were gone, all of a sudden the townspeople started disappearing. But it wasn't all at once. It was like over time. Like one or two people would vanish in one night, and then like a week would go by, and two or three more might vanish. So this kind of took place over a period of time. They were basically unexplained disappearance. People were terrified. The miners themselves kind of quit mining. They were like, fuck that. And then the villagers started to vanish, whether they were leaving because they didn't want nothing to do with it, or they literally were vanishing.
Or they died, yeah, or they disappeared.
Yeah, so a lot of it was questionable.
I say I would figure if the survivors were the ones that got disappeared first, then there would be no one to work.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's other people that day is 60 people went in, so there's
right. Yeah, there would have been others
shifts.
that didn't actually go in that day.
Yeah, so there's definitely other miners. However, people were spooked. The villagers, they tried everything from going to sleep with their fully armed, and they kind of kept the travelers out because they wanted to kind of get to the point of what's going on, and then they never did figure out what had happened. However, they were definitely not willing to keep the mine open, and then basically the town, they thought the town was cursed, and then once the merchants found out and other travelers, they stopped visiting altogether, so they didn't have to tell them not to come back.
Gotcha.
So of course, lore had started about how this town was cursed and blah blah blah. There's a lot of horror stories, and some of it's true, some of it's been exaggerated, and that's kind of what the guy wanted to hire you guys to figure out what the hell happened, because this was booming, and they're getting tired of digging where they're digging, and they want more money, and they know that this platinum vein is very prosperous.
Yeah, they know it, but
yeah,
with the mystery, they know it's there, but then it appears cursed, and so they want to know whether it's cursed or whether there's something there, and if there's something there, get rid of it so we can start mining it.
Yep. In the back of the book, you do find a sketched of the town. It's kind of like a rough map of the village and the location, and in the direction it tells you the closest mountain and whatnot. So it shouldn't be too hard to find it, and it's called Marion.
Oh, do I know where Marion is? Do I need to make a check or something?
No, but we can say you do if you want.
So the background of this character, the background of this character is I'm a sage of this keep. Like, I'm from this keep.
Yeah. So then we'll say yes.
And yeah, I spent many years here doing a lot of research on the
So let's do this. The map in the back doesn't physically tell you that the town name is Marion. You recognize the map, and you're dead set that it is the village of Marion.
and my profession as a seer, I can, it came to me in the vision. Sure, that works.
Okay. All right, I'll meet you back in the room.
All right, I'll be right there.
All right, I'm back. Wait till Dash gets back.
I guess it didn't work.
Yeah, what you doing?
Oh, I had a question about my character in a different server. We're just testing out to see which command worked.
Ah, I gotcha.
I accidentally imported Chime into a different server.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I wanted to I was trying to do my monster commands during combat, and then brought up Chime's stats instead.
Oops.
Admittedly, every server needs at least one Kenku.
That's right.
I think my server is currently Kenku-less.
We'll say that I read this overnight, and I can say whatever I need to say to people in the morning, if that's cool with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, everything doesn't need to happen all in one night. I don't think we were given a timetable. So we should go over there, see if you can do it, and maybe you'll come back.
One last question. The distance between the town that I know of and Candlekeep, do we know what that is, or is that like about what would that be, Rod?
It's 3 days on horseback.
8.
You said that was the amount. Is that from Candlekeep to the town that I know of?
Correct.
Okay. Alrighty, and I will await everyone's waking.
I got a couple things I want to do that night, actually.
Sure.
Before I go to bed, I would like to ritual cast Find Familiar to summon Bean, my trusty owl companion. Sorry, I'm starting to get stuffed up. But yes, Bean is a wonderful owl. And then, I'm trying to figure out... Oh, sweet. Okay. There is that one. Delete. Wrong thing.
God, how many characters do you have?
There's a lot. Well, some of them are in their duplicate for some reason. So it's like, do you want to delete the first one or the second one?
Where are you deleting them from?
His character sheets.
Character sheets out of Avery.
Out of Avery, okay, so I was wondering. I did not know Avery retains your characters after you're not playing them.
Yeah, you can switch in between characters.
That might explain why Avery has gotten bogged down over time.
I'm deleting through mine.
Where we thought it was Discord might be because of Avery itself. Good to know that. Cannabis, Doobie, Stoner. Trying to tell us something there, bud?
Sooner. Well, I created Sooner instead of
You're good.
I'll put you on hold. Hello? Hold on. You there?
again. There we go.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. Hello?
Me talking to the wife.
All right, sorry, y'all there?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah, apparently there was a news flash that Taiwan just reported there was 9 Chinese fighters over in the Taiwan airspace.
Just flying over, or were they actively trying to bomb something?
I don't know. She just said that
Spotted.
they were spotted.
Well,
Who knows? I wouldn't
in
doubt it,
China?
dude. I mean, that's going on. Why not?
Yeah.
So,
Quickly, make your land grabs that you've been wanting forever.
yep.
Land what?
Land grabs.
Oh, land grabs.
Yeah.
The only problem is,
China's been claiming that Taiwan's Chinese ever since Taiwan has existed.
well, I hope U.S. has a plan B, because if China does take over Taiwan, that's going to be a lot of our semiconductors and a lot of
yeah.
hard drives, if I'm not mistaken.
They're building them here.
You know how long that would take? That's why Fords were sitting in Kentucky Derby.
It may. How long do you think it would take to build it?
It said 2 years. There was a ship shortage that was being built. I think China was making it, and then when all the shit went down, they stopped getting these chips, and they announced that these Ford trucks, it would take 2 years to build, which they did say they were going to do, start building them here. It'd be 2
They
years
need to.
before they can roll off one chip. That's, yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
It's not bad though. I mean, if it takes 2 years, 2 years better than dealing with China and that
But anyways,
shenanigans.
it's 9 o'clock. I got a little bit in me. I gotta go down and take care of the kid.
I mean, while I have this in memory, I can go ahead and
Yes.
say this stuff,
Okay.
and then we can call it for the night.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kind of a lot of you guys get up early, have to go to work. So
Yeah. Well, we can retroactively do what you need to do during the night.
I'm done.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, it turns out I'm done. I just needed the one thing.
Okay. Well, then when everybody's ready and basically having breakfast or something, I'll say, well, here's what I've learned from this tome. Not very long, but it is seemingly separated into individual accounts, I'm assuming. But it is quite wordy. From what I've been able to tell, this Vermilion city was established after a platinum vein was discovered, and did very well for itself, both in ore and refined metal. But because of rough terrain and the harsh climate, never really grew very large. It did have. What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mining never grew.
No, the village itself.
Okay.
The village itself never grew very large because it was a harsh climate and rough terrain of where it's at on the mountain. It did play host to traveling merchants, and they would stay for a week or two and then leave. But the nearest civilized settlement was 3 days horseback down the mountain. And it seems to mention a Mare laid Duvizin very often, and a dwarf smith named Tormund and his wife Blinnes. It mentions them quite a lot. Long story short, around 70 years ago, an explosion happened, collapsing much of the mine, and there were 60 miners down at the time of the explosion. and let's see, there were 60 miners down in the down. Um, 30 of them died during the initial explosion / collapse. And because of the collapse, it was really hard to get down and try to save anyone. Many were trapped for weeks or so. And of the 60 that went down, 16 came out alive, and 11 were never found. In the wake of the catastrophe, explosion and such, the people started disappearing. And it was like one person, and then a bunch of time would go by, and another person, and a bunch of time would go by, another person. But it started with the survivors, and then it moved on to the villagers, and then by the time it seemed nothing worked to prevent it, it just people started disappearing. So now everyone's left or disappeared, and everyone thinks it's cursed. Everyone thinks no one's sure what happened. No one's sure what caused the explosion. No one's sure what caused the disappearances. No one is sure. I mean, the writer basically stops there and says it's a mystery.
Nobody knows how or why an explosion happened down there?
No one knows why the explosion happened, and no one knows why people are disappearing. Or people disappeared. No one's there anymore. However, on the back, on the last page, I do have a map of where it's at. And directions to the closest town. I know this town. I've read of it in my studies. It's called Merin.
And how much of so what's that town like? Did any of the villagers there move to Maris?
I'm not sure. Book didn't exactly say. I do know the book was written from many secondhand accounts, so it may be that some of the accounts were gotten from some of the people who left and stayed in Mirren. It could be that he tracked some down. It could be that he is being extremely extravagant with his detailing. He assumingly was a bard, so extravagance is I would not put past.
When you examined the book, did you see anything or investigate it quite thoroughly to see if there's any kind of hidden messages or code? I'm just trying to figure out why this dwarf wants this book so bad. He's willing to pay 500 gold pieces for it. Why?
Yeah, I should have done an inside check on him.
I got charm first. I could charm him when we get back if need be.
I mean, the need of knowing why, possibly. Maybe he had a family member die there and or never be found there, and he wants this as a memory or a keepsake.
I said his grandmother gave it to the Candlekeep?
His granddaughter, yes.
Granddaughter?
Granddaughter?
Dwarves live a long time, similar to elves. I mean, not as long as elves, but similar.
No, he didn't have it. Of her. Weird.
She stole it from him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, I guess we can still ask him if we give him copy or original.
Basically, the deep and creeping darkness came to Candlekeep with another group of adventurers that were given to them by a villager who found it among her grandfather's old possessions. Her grandfather was basically a traveling bard in his youth, and he's the one that claimed to have written the book.
Mm.
So it wasn't the guy that you spoke to. Is non-related. The only connection he has, he wants to go mine. He wants to pull some of that platinum out of that vein. They know of it. Perhaps they're getting sick and tired of their job where they're at now. The grass is looking greener somewhere else, and they know for a fact that the city, not far from there, also has a platinum vein. But nobody dares to go there because of the horror stories and rumors and whatnot.
And all he told us was he just wanted it for his.
He
book.
wanted the book for his collection.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, you never know. There might be something in there that he wants. And there is a hand map drawn of Marion, I believe. It's in the back of the book.
Yeah, there's
a map.
Yeah, you said it's a rough map of the village's location and how to get to Marin, the closest town.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me see if I can find. So, however, you guys do have 1,000 gold pieces on top of what you already collected through the other chapters. You guys are more than welcome to purchase equipment. Obviously, they're in Candlekeep.
And split 4 ways, 250 each.
Yep, that's what I did.
Yep.
I figure I am likely to invest in a horse.
Might be a good idea.
I can fly.
That's perfectly fine. You do not have to invest in a horse.
And share horse.
I will. I don't have to spend as much money on food and other supplies as you guys do, for I don't need to eat or drink. Sorry. Technically, I don't need to sleep either. I'd go in a trance, but that's besides that.
What?
Yeah, elf don't have to sleep.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Like 4 hours, don't they? Rest.
Yeah, they have to go into a 4-hour trance. They're technically not sleeping. They are perfectly aware of their surroundings.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have to take a 4-hour trance.
Oh no.
And so basically during the 4 hours that I wasn't sleeping, I read the book and then I tranced and then while concentrating on what I learned and then told you guys what I learned. And so I can definitely get a horse, or we can pool some of our resources if we would rather and get a horse and buggy if you'd rather have a carriage and not a horse.
A carriage would be good. We'll pull in for a carriage.
I'd have to remember how to. Let's
For
go
me,
back.
I can't find it.
Carriage is gone. Good night.
A wagon cost 35 gold.
Oh.
And depending on if we want 2 horses or 1, we'd probably want draft horses if we're going to tow a wagon. And those cost 50 each.
A draft pick.
Drafts are stronger. They can carry more, but they're not as fast. A riding horse if we want to have a horse each, or a draft horse if we want to buy a wagon.
It'd be 34 gold pieces each to do a carriage and 2 draft horses.
Then it becomes DM. Is that something we can purchase?
What are you wanting to buy?
2 draft horses and a wagon. Basically a covered wagon, just without the cover.
Tell you what, let me resource that, and then next Thursday I'll have your answer.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll figure everything out. Tell you the cost, if you guys have the funds, and sure.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying just a minute ago was how much it all costs.
Yeah. Yep.
But all right, and then that can be where we can end it on.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording.